Roxas walked down the hall to class. Class had just and let out. Oh, thank God, he said. Oh, and hitched his backpack further over his shoulder. Happy it was lunchtime. He'd have to find Axel, Demi, and Reese soon, so they could all hang out. He reached his locker and threw his things in, glancing up at the pictures of him and his friends that hung up on his door. He shook his head and closed the door, locking it, running his hands through his hair before stretching and heading in the direction of Demi's locker.
Demix walked out of his class, book strung in one arm, finger to his other shoved in his ear. The ringing sound did not seem to want to get out. Seeing on how he sat right under the bell in his Block B class. Oh, lunchtime, gotta find the gang, he thought to himself, hoping he would run into the school nurse on the way. The nurse was next to him, number 6 in Organization 13, which Demix had a slight crush on. Slight. He stopped at his locker, fiddling with the lock until it clicked open. He chucked his stuff in the locker and sat down on the bench near it, waiting for the gang to show up.
Roxas finally found his way to Demi's locker. Per usual, the bond wasn't there. He sighed and looked around. Hey, Demi! Roxas waved as he made his way across the crowded hallway as he found the boy sitting at a bench opposite his locker. Finally, make it to the other side, Roxas plopped down beside his friend, letting out a sigh. I swear every day these halls get more and more dangerous, the short man said, looking over at Demi.
Demix laughed, ha 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 ha, and waved to his friend, and as soon as he sat down, let's just hope Rico and Axel survive. He let out another burst of laughter, ha 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 ha, and sighed, thinking about sexing.
Roxas jumped a little as Demi and rubbed the back of his head and laughed quietly himself. Yeah, really. He noticed that Demi seemed kind of distracted. Hey, Demi, you thinking about Nurse Sexion again? Roxas asked, a sly smile creeping onto his face. He elbowed the taller boy in the ribs. Roxas knew that Demi had a crush on the school nurse, and he loved bringing it up every now and then. Axel rubbed his eyes as he walked into the school. He slept in again and missed the first of classes of the day. He quickly made a stop at his locker and threw his backpack inside. His uniform was all messed, and his hair was sticking up in different places. He ran a hand through it, trying to straighten it, but soon gave up. Axel closed his locker and pushed his way through the crowded hall towards Demi's locker. The official meeting place of the small group. He smiled when he remembered Roxas would probably be there.
His face flushed, which soon led him to look away from his goofy friend and ignore him. Demix sighed. The nurse on his mind again. He slapped himself and looked towards Roxas. Just in time to get elbowed in the rib. Ow, you asshole! That hurt. Hey, have you and Axel hit it off yet? He smirked, bringing up the fact that Axel had the biggest crush on Roxas. Demix laughed. patting Roxas on the shoulder as he walked to his locker, grabbed his sitar and making his way to the bench. He sat down and began to play.
Are you done? You done? Roxas scowled and crossed his arms over his chest. "Huh! No, Axel and I have not hit it off yet," the boy said, rolling his eyes. As Demi stood up to get his sitar, Raxus leaned against the back of the bench and brought his legs up onto it to look away from Demi, just as he had done to him earlier. The blonde was having a bad time with the guys right now. He'd just recently seen Sora, a kid that went to a different school who was pretty cute and nice, and his age. And Axel, Roxas sighed. Axel showed up at the bench not long after he had set out from his locker. The hallway had gradually died down to only a few people. He noticed Demi and Moses both looking in opposite directions from each other. He laughed and sat down between the two boys. "Hey guys, teasing each other again, eh?" he said, putting his arms around the shoulders of the two best friends.
He stopped playing his sitar and grinned. "Yeah, actually we were. I was talking to Roxas about how cute you two would be together." He laughed. "Ha ha 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 ha," getting ready to book it out to the courtyard, just in case Roxas decided to chase him outside. Demix was a faster runner than Roxas, but only due to the longer legs. Demix giggled, waiting for Roxas to try to kill him. "Ha ha, that's what you get, Roxas, especially for making fun of my crush."
Roxas's face turned completely red, and he reached over to Axel to get Demi. "Yeah, well, maybe I should give you a black eye so you can go see the nurse," he growled, his face still flushed. Axel grabbed Roxas around the waist to hold him away from Demi. "Hey now, you two be nice," he said with a laugh and sat Roxas down on his lap. He was so cute when he blushed. Roxas crossed his arms over his chest and gave on Axel's lap, still glaring at Demi.
Demix was laughing his ass off. "Axel,
I'm gonna kill you!"
until he heard the comment about the nurse. His face flushed. A smile smirked the sides of his lips. That wouldn't be such a bad idea, he thought, shaking his head. Foolish he couldn't throw himself out to sex him. Foolish he couldn't throw himself out to sex him like that, even if his desire to be with him grew deeper every day. His face began to look saddened as he glanced towards his sitar that lay in his arms. He began to play a soft melody, which had an earthy and sad tone. Da 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 da.
Axel looked over to Demi as his face grew sad, then over to Roxas, his face still flushed. He looked so cute. "Oh, come on, guys, don't be like this," he said, once again wrapping his arms around their necks and pulling them inwards. "Let's just have a nice lunch, okay? Where is that Riku?" he wondered aloud as well. Roxas let his arms unfold and rest them on the bench as Axel pulled him and Demi inward. He looked over at the other blonde and sighed. "Fine, I'm sorry, Demi, but if you like him so much, you should talk to him," he said, pushing Axel's arms off of himself as he sat up. The same could go for him with Axel or Sora. Axel pouted as Roxas threw his arms off, but smiled as he heard the boy apologize. "See, it's your turn, Demi." The redhead smiled. He had no clue what they were talking about or who Demi was falling so deeply in love with, but it didn't matter. Finger change.
Demix sighed and pushed Axel's arm off his shoulder. You're right, Roxas." He stood up and walked towards his locker, placed his sitar inside.
I don't think it's recording.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Oh, no it is. Never mind. Okay. Continue.
Demix left the locker area and headed towards the nurse's office. A smile grew on his face. as he held the handle of the door, a door that right behind was XIII. He twisted the knob, pushed the plank of wood that stood between him and his crush. He blushed as soon as he saw a number VI's face. 6. So smooth, so beautiful. A better smile grew on his face. XIII, he stuttered. His face grew a deeper red.
XIII turned towards the door. His organization cloak hung off of his shoulders. As he was about to zip it up, he stood there, his legs not wearing their usual stockings, and his hair a slight mess, like it was every lunch hour before he went home for the day. Yes, Demi.
Demix choked, words not being able to come from his throat. He stuttered, walking closer to XIII, his face flushed more. I have something to tell you. He stood there quietly, watching his XIII stood there, confused. I love you, XIII. I know it's not right, because you are the school nurse and all, but I do. I can't change my feelings. His face was a rose red, completely flushed in his embarrassment. Demick gave a bow to XIII. I understand if you don't feel the same way, or want me to forget my feelings, but that's how I feel, and I had to tell you. He looked at number 6, seeing him stand in confusion.
Stand on the other side of me, so it looks like I'm looking at me.
His face was about as red as Demix's. Demix turned around and ran out of the nurse's office, running back to his locker in tears in his eyes. His face was red, dying from embarrassment on the inside.
Axel smiled as Demix said he was sorry. There we go, he said as he watched Demix run off.
Oh.
Well, there we go. He had to apologize. We have to go apologize now. He was going to see this guy. Rocked aside and looked at Axel as he watched Demix walk off to the nurse's office. His face had finally returned back to its normal color. Hey, Axel, he asked quietly. Axel clapped his hands together and looked over at Rock as he began to speak. What is it, Rock? He screamed. He stopped as Demix ran by, crying. Dem! The redhead let out and ran after him. Rock just got up and as well and ran after the crying blonde. No. That's so horrible.
Demix ran into the courtyard, sitting on the fountain by the water, where he always felt wanted. If I'm a nobody, then why do I feel like this? Nobodies aren't supposed to have hearts, yet mine has been crushed. XIII probably never wants to talk to me again. He sat there quietly, then not even being able to play his guitar.
Demix! XIII called towards him, seeing Demix sit all alone on the fountain. Of course, XIII thought, walking towards the young boy. Demix wasn't much younger than XIII, and XIII had noticed his skills on the sitar and the way he moved. XIII fight Demix quite cute. Of course, he couldn't let the superior know, at least not until Demix had finished school. XIII continued to walk towards Demix and smiled, sitting next to him. Demix, XIII called to him, watching as he turned around. XIII saw Demix's face, his lips drawing closer to the boy's lips. XIII flushed as he felt his lips press against Demix's, smiling his mind eyes so that he could see that he wasn't moving away.
Demix's face
flushed a little bit. Other way. No. You can see their faces there.
Demix's face flushed as XIII pressed his lips against his own. Tears began to fall down his face again, his heart healing its broken wounds. His arms